The Infinite Empire, the first major galactic power in the galaxy, also known to many as the Rakatan Empire. Today, we're going to look into the full lore of this mysterious empire and what happened to it. So sit back, relax, and have some pancakes. Welcome to Star Wars Timelines. Around 36,000 BBY, the Qua, a Force-sensitive reptilian species from the planet Dathomir, arrived on Lehon, the homeworld of the species known as the Rakata, as they had done on many worlds before. The Qua became the Rakata's benefactors, teaching them about the species and even more about the Force, giving them advanced technology. With the help of the Qua, the Rakata became a technology-advanced race, even developing some early hyperdrive technology. However, the Rakata used the Qua's teachings of the Force for darkness, and they became obsessed with the dark side of the Force, which eventually corrupted their society and turned them into a race of merciless warriors. However, the Qua were horrified to realize that the Rakata were a cannibalistic race that ignored the Qua's teachings of balance, drawing only from the dark side of the Force. Pairing their aggression and desire for conquest with the Qua technology, the Rakata expanded out from Lehon and began to conquer other worlds in the unknown regions. The Rakata formed the Infinite Empire and targeted worlds rich with the Force. The Rakata developed technology that allowed them to induce fear and hatred into Force-sensitive beings, and they used the Force-sensitive slaves among the population they conquered to fuel their warships and technology by placing them in machines that converted the slaves' dark side emotions into energy. Eventually, they discovered the Qua had a secret infinity gate that allowed the Qua to travel instantaneously across the galaxy. Desiring the Qua's infinity gate technology, they turned on the Qua and fought against them in the Battle of Lehon. Many Qua died holding off the Rakatan warriors so that they could destroy the gate on Lehon. However, the Rakata were not to be stopped, building an enormous space station known as the Starforge, a factory powered by that dark side that produced warships and technology for the Empire. The Rakata spread out over the unknown regions and into the Western Galaxy by 35,000 BBY. The forest world of Kashyyyk was one world captured by the Empire, and the Rakata installed a terraforming computer on the planet to manipulate Kashyyyk's trees. That is until the computer lost contact with the Rakata in 33,000 BBY and malfunctioned. The Rakata continued their conquest for another 5,000 years until they reached their highest point. The Rakata eventually found Dathomir, the homeworld of the Qua. The Rakata bombarded the species, brutally subjugating the world until the species devolved into Qui lizards. They continued their conquest of the galaxy, eventually discovering the planet Belsavis and turning the planet into their prison world, using stasis technology to entomb monsters, warlords, and worse. The first prisoner of Belsavis, and the reason the prison was constructed in the first place, was the World Raiser, a mysterious being whose hunger supposedly consumed 1,000 worlds. Hey guys, quick note. We're over 2,500 subscribers now, and I just want to thank you all so much for sticking around for so long. If you guys have any suggestions at all about any other videos you'd like to see me do, please leave them in the comments below. I'll continue to do Clone Wars videos as new episodes come out, and other weird and wacky creatures like the Star Weirds. But if there's anything specific you'd like, please let me know. Also, as usual guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, just comment any other kind of weird videos you'd like to see me do. Thank you so much for sticking around for so long guys. Again, thank you, it means a lot. Now onto the video. Around 27,000 BBY, the Rakata discovered the planet Korriban and the Sith species. The Rakata showed the Sith the technology of the holocrons, but the soon Sith realized the Empire's intentions of conquest and fought them off, driving the Rakata from Korriban. The Rakata conquered a number of worlds in the region that were later known as the Core Worlds, including the planet Coruscant, which was home to the human species. During the Infinite Empire's reign, the Eshkar species began to overrun a number of Rakatan slave worlds, leading the Empire to attack the Eshkar. One Eshkar, named Hallowed Voice, appealed to the Rakata to spare his species, but the Rakata strung out negotiations until they contained the Eshkar and then captured Hallowed Voice. The Eshkar were all imprisoned on Belsavis, locked in stasis vaults. The Rakatan warlord known as Soa, also known as the Infernal One, was one of the rulers of the Eternal Empire, though he was ultimately imprisoned on Belsavis in what became known as the Eternity Vaults. Now, the Infinite Empire did have one fatal flaw that would eventually bring the collapse of the Empire, and that was their force-based technology. The Starforge began feeding off the Rakatans' aggressive tendencies and created dark-side energies that further corrupted its creators. After generations of galactic supremacy and control, the Infinite Empire began to fracture. Huge slave revolts erupted throughout the borders of the Empire, along with various factions vying for control. This led to a civil war throughout Rakatan-controlled space. Already weakened by warfare, the Rakata was suddenly struck by a deadly plague in 25,000 BBY. This has been rumoured to have been possibly created by one of the slave species. The virus spread rapidly through their ranks due to their self-crafted genetic uniformity. The disease nearly exterminated the Rakata and brought the Infinite Empire to its knees, but the worst was yet to come. A mutation in the disease caused the Rakata to lose their connection and power in the Force, as the Force adepts were culled from overall population. The Rakata lost their ability to manipulate their own advanced technology. They were forced to adapt to using inferior technology. With their slave masters thus weakened, the populace of many enslaved worlds rebelled. The Infinite Empire began to collapse as the member worlds, such as Korriban, began to expel their Rakatan masters. The all but destroyed Rakata could do nothing but abandon their conquests and retreat to the safety of their homeworld, thus ending the reign of the Infinite Empire. After returning to their homeworld, the Rakata split into different factions, fighting for control of the planet. The species endured, but they were nothing compared to what they once were. A once mighty empire reduced to tribes and primitive warfare. Some of the Rakata continued to haunt the galaxy though. Soa, the Infernal One I mentioned earlier, who had been imprisoned on Belsavis, broke free of his prison years later during the Galactic War between the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic. The Republic sent a strike team to eliminate Oa and was successful in stopping the return of the Infernal One. Another example of the potential return of the Rakata were the artifacts they had left behind. The Mind Prison was one of these artifacts that housed the consciousness of the imprisoned one. His consciousness vessel was eventually rediscovered twice, first by Revan during the Jedi Civil War, and again centuries later by the Circa Corporation during the Cold War. A quick reminder guys, if possible please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me and helps me continue to make content like this. If you also have any ideas for lore videos, or theories, or reviews, or any upcoming comics that you might like me to have a look at, please comment them in the comments down below. I'm always open to any suggestions. Again, they can literally be as wild as you want. Like, I'll literally do a lore video on what happened to Jar Jar Binks after Revenge of the Sith. He became a bit of a clown. I mean, he was a clown before, but now he's more of a clown. I'll save that for the video. Comment down below if you want me to do that or something. Anyways, on to the video. The Imprisoned One made a deal with Revan. If Revan could defeat him in a game of riddles, he would be free. However, if Revan lost, the prisoner would get out and inhabit Revan's body, dooming him to eternity in the box. After a few riddles, Revan managed to stump him. The prisoner stayed inside and reluctantly proceeded to release Revan, helping the hero along with his quest for the Starforge. 3 centuries later in the Cold War, the Imprisoned One was woken once again. However, this time, the Republic was able to defeat him for good and destroyed the Mind Prison, as well as the consciousness. As for the species themselves, the few Rakata that remained in this space consisted of a scattering of planets, where these Rakata tribes continued their ancient struggles. While most tribes were primitive and restricted to a single planet, some did eventually rediscover the secrets of spaceflight. but they never return to the power that they once held. And that marks the end of the Rakata and the law of the Infinite Empire. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment what video you'd like me to do lore on next. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.